Ja, wunderschönen guten Nachmittag oder schönen guten Abend bei mir in Singapur.
English.
Und oh, sorry, good morning, good evening. Hey, hi everybody, what's up out there in DeFiChain land? Good evening from Singapore, what is it in Germany, DC?
Hello
Hello, good
from
morning.
Germany.
It's still morning
not
over
a
there.
good morning.
Okay.
It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Happy lunchtime over there. Hey guys, so happy to have you all here tonight. We are, sorry if I say tonight, it's evening in Singapore. We have a special treat for you. So it's the first and premiere show of the DeFiChain Fireside chat. Me and DC were brainstorming what could we do next to bring you some exciting information update all around DeFiChain. And we thought, what could be even more awesome than showing you tech all the time? Because it's always tech. We want to portray a couple of really interesting people around DeFiChain. And yeah, that's how everything started, DC.
Yeah, and you invested a lot of time with the new intro. Really nice.
I couldn't figure out the language. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about who's part of DeFiChain.
Who's part of DeFiChain, exactly. So we thought, who could be the first guest tonight? We were looking for somebody really special. And we didn't have to look so far, to be honest, because there's a person you're going to meet very soon. His name is Dr. Daniel Cagara. He is with DeFiChain for quite a long time. He's in crypto forever, more or less, but he's going to tell you his life story and his crypto story soon. And yeah, I would say Daniel is waiting out there. DC, we invite him in. What do you think about that?
Yes, of course.
Let's go. Daniel, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, hi, Mark. Hi, Daniel. I'm very good, thanks. I really appreciate that you're having me. And I'm quite excited. It's my first live, actually. Never done this before.
You're going to do a great job. I'm 100% sure about that. Pure awesomeness. Hey, where are you at the moment?
Well, I'm currently in Brisbane, Australia.
Okay.
And it's quite a long story how I got here. I guess we will talk about it later.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's beautiful. It's warm all day, every day.
Cool.
I'm here. It's nighttime. It's like 8 o'clock at night.
So if you're down under, a stupid question, shouldn't be, so that is in Europe summer, shouldn't there be winter now? Or
winter?
Is the climate different you're on the Gold Coast, right?
Well, close. It's like 60 minutes from the Gold Coast.
Okay.
But it's winter, but our winter is still warmer than German summer. So
okay, especially this summer today because it's very cold on our side. Yeah.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt all our viewers over there in Germany, I guess, telling them that your winter is warmer than their summer. Hey, cool. Hey, guys, we have a lot to talk about. So we haven't rehearsed anything. So this is all like really first time, new guest, completely new setup. So forgive us if some things don't go so smoothly. We're going to give our best. I think we started, so we have a certain setup, but I think the most important and foremost, we want to talk a little bit about your life story, Daniel. You've got an exciting life story, what you told me in our quick briefing that we had. And I think to understand the journey, where you come from, maybe give us a little bit background, where you do come from, how did you end up in Australia, and all of these things.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if my life story is that interesting, but I can tell you regardless.
I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah. So look, I was born in Düsseldorf. I did what every child did. I went to school, then later to gymnasium. I don't know the English word for that. I was always a bit tech interested. So I was always interested in computers and technology and stuff like that. So for me, it was a no-brainer that I would go to uni and study computer science. So that's what I did in Düsseldorf. And this is where I met my professor, who kind of changed my entire life. But so he was a young junior professor at uni, and he was planning to create his own kind of department in Berlin. So he was a junior professor in Düsseldorf, wanted to go to Berlin to become a real professor with his own little team, and I was part of this team.
Okay.
So everyone was very close. And this is, by the way, how I got into Bitcoin, through him. But that's maybe a story for later. So anyway, I was in Düsseldorf, then I moved to Berlin and started my PhD, which was, by the way, one of the best times of my life. Berlin was like a completely new world to me compared with Düsseldorf. And when I did my PhD, it was very interesting. I did what I loved. So it was it was all about network security. It was all about communication protocols, stuff like that. And so when I was in Berlin, did my PhD, obviously we had to present papers at international conferences all the time. So I got to go to Vancouver, I got to go to Japan, I got to go to Austria even. Austria in Innsbruck. There was a conference.
That's not so far away, actually, right? I think it's worth mentioning, right?
Yeah. Well, now it is very far away.
Agree.
To me, Innsbruck is like a paradise at the other side of the world currently.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was very interesting. And my PhD was kind of co-funded by a university in Brazil. So I would say maybe half of my PhD time was spent in Brazil, which was very interesting as well.
So do you speak Portuguese? Do you manage to learn Portuguese?
Well, I could order chicken. I could order
a beer.
I think, yeah, definitely. And I could always do I mainly talked with my hands, like eat, drink.
It works everywhere. Yeah.
And it was a team of PhD students, so everyone was talking English anyway. So it wasn't a big problem. And then after I finished my PhD, of course, I was like, okay, what do I do next? So I believed in what people told me all my life. Daniel, when you're done, you have to get a job. And up to that point, my life was awesome. Like, it was amazing. I've met amazing people. I traveled the world. I did everything I could do. And then I got a job. And this is where all
went south, actually.
Exactly. Yeah, this was for a big car manufacturer in the southern part of Germany. And, what used to be very fun was a nightmare. So I had like a boss on Discord, I always keep joking. Yeah, a dude in a suit and a tie, and then Daniel, 1 minute too late. And I was like, oh my god.
The typical German boss that we kind of have in our minds, right? And we think,
exactly. Yeah, like a perfect example. And so back then I had a girlfriend, and her dream was always, to get out of Germany, to move to Australia. And at that time, so it was late 2017, when I remembered, hey, Daniel, you still have Bitcoin. Because I got into Bitcoin very early. And then it was just when the bubble, the 2017-18 bubble was just rising. So I looked into my Bitcoin balance and I was like, oh my God, this can end today. So I did what everyone was dreaming of. I literally did what everyone is dreaming of. I went in and I was like, by the way, it's my last day today, and see you later. I'm out.
And you just quit.
I just quit. And just like a couple months later, I went to Australia, and I stuck around and I'm here. Like, it hasn't worked out with the girlfriend back then, but I'm very grateful for where I'm right now, because I wouldn't have come up with the idea of
Okay, so
Australia.
actually you blame her. So actually she's the reason why you went there, but she's not the reason why she's not the reason why you stayed there at the end.
No. Cool. I was literally, I don't know. I'm just pretty happy. I found new friends. I found a new girlfriend. I have 2 dogs now. So life is perfect. Life is nice.
What was the biggest difference between living in Germany and in Australia? I've never been in Australia. I always wanted to go there. It's like I'm in the middle between Austria and Australia now, right? Singapore, Southeast Asia. How would you describe it, like in a couple of sentences?
It's hard to say, but I would say the biggest difference is like the pace, like how fast and how hectic people are. So in Germany, it's like everything is like, quick, you need to perform and blah blah. And it's like, okay, well, everything is easy going. Like, when you think about Australian lifestyle, you think about like the long-haired guy on the beach, the surfboard. It's not quite that, but like, the mentality is very similar. So everything is easy going.
Everything is easy going. Hey, I just want to interrupt you for a second, because we have a very special comment here from Yusin. Good to meet you. Thanks for security research work for DeFiChain, Daniel.
No worries, Yusin. It's always a pleasure to work with you. I love it.
that's really special that Yusin is online. Maybe
Yeah.
that's good timing. Hey, thanks Yusin for joining. Hey, awesome to have you.
Mark, don't tell me that. The more people are online, the more nervous I
The more
get.
nervous you get. Hey guys, we have to,
Nobody is there.
Nobody's there. It's only me and DC. We have to say one secret. Daniel is in a very hard situation because his monitor is not where his camera is, right?
Exactly.
And I find it very weird to talk to a camera, but I think you do a great job because I look constantly at my own picture on my monitor, but you don't see anyone. But okay, it's just you and the camera. Take it easy.
Exactly. I don't see anything.
Okay, so you ended up in Australia. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had Bitcoin. You know what I think is super interesting? I got into Bitcoin in 2016, 2017. I think I bought my first Bitcoin at around, I think about $600 or something like this. When did you get into crypto? I assume it was Bitcoin. I assume it was not something else. How did that happen? What was the price? Take us a little bit back in time in your crypto life.
Yeah, so I thought about it to make sure that I'm not telling anything untrue. And when I got into Bitcoin, it was around 2011, 2012. So it was late 11, early 2012, something around that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so my professor introduced me into Bitcoin. And he told me, hey, Daniel, I have this new thing. You have to have a look at it. It's going to be great. It's going to be the next big thing. I was like, okay, just show me, maybe I have 5 minutes.
What did you think when you heard that at the beginning? Because when Julian told me about it, I thought, I don't know, that sounds all kind of weird.
Yeah, but back then it wasn't that much about money. So it was, back then it was just, it was a very geeky niche thing, kind of.
So more a techie thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, when the first I got interested in Bitcoin. I didn't have Bitcoin from the beginning, but I think the price was around $5, and so my professor told me.
I hate you for that.
Yeah, but then my professor said, look, why don't we just buy Bitcoin miners? And this was the time when like the FPGA miners were just coming out. So so the professor suggested, hey, let's get a Bitcoin miner and we can just mine it in the uni and take the money and buy like Club Mate, Coca-Cola for everyone. So we kept doing this. So he bought these miners and I kept setting them up. So I got more and more interested in this topic. So what first started just like a 5-minute, cool, okay, thanks for showing me. So I found myself to actually invest time into it, set up these miners and mine these Bitcoins. So yeah, we've been mining these Bitcoins. We had free Club Mate. It was all fine.
So
but obviously
sorry to interrupt you. How long did it take to mine a Bitcoin at that time? I mean, with the equipment that you had, any idea? Because we know today it takes a lot of time, a lot of computation power. It must have been super easy at that time, right?
Yeah, not super easy. It was still like maybe a week or two. I don't know. So it was still reasonably hard. And this was the time when the FPGA miners were just coming out, so the difficulty was shooting up. So it was getting harder and harder and harder. And I don't know. I think it was like late 2012, something like that. We thought, because it was not just me, it was also the other guys in the team. We were like, okay, well, why don't we just get Bitcoin for ourselves? I mean, it's paying for the Club Mate. Why can't we have Bitcoin privately? Because all the unicorns, they were unicorns, we couldn't keep them privately. So, everyone was like, yeah, whatever, I want to have a miner too. So some people bought a mining equipment to mine their own Bitcoins. And I was like, I mean, I know a way how to get Bitcoin quicker. I'll just buy Bitcoin instead of a miner. So, yeah.
The smart German. A good idea. I like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I bought a couple hundred back then. It was like around $12, $13 or something like that. And back then there was not much you can do with these coins. So you could go on Satoshi Roulette. You could, that was pretty much it. Trade on Mt. Gox, which I was doing. Lucky I got out of there before it collapsed. But I kept them. Did
you give Bitcoins away like everybody at that time? Like, hey, have a Bitcoin or something like this?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And one question from my side.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you mined a block from the uni side? How was the block reward at that time? Was it still the 50 Bitcoin?
Well, it was still 50, but the thing is, we didn't mine
Amazing.
solo, so we've been using a pool, so we've been getting regular payments. So we couldn't really tell. Okay, we found a block. We didn't find a block, so we used these pools back then, and so yeah, we've been getting like daily payouts, which were smaller.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, and yeah, I mean, I spent a couple Bitcoins. So later when I moved to Berlin, there was a nice restaurant. It was called, I don't know what this is. I don't want to make advertisements for them. It was called Friede Richter. It was like a restaurant that accepted Bitcoin.
It can't
and they
be
had
more
delicious
German. The name can't be more German than that.
I know. So yeah, I spent a couple Bitcoin on meals, but I kept the majority of the coins. And yeah, and I kept them all the way until 17 when I essentially, so when the bubble started rising and everyone was talking about it on the media, like your hairdresser, taxi driver was telling you, oh, you have to invest in Bitcoin. So it's like, oh, maybe it's the right time to get out. So and this gave me the freedom to actually just quit my job and go to Australia and not know what's going to happen, right? So
okay, interesting. And so you really forgot your Bitcoin, or you have it in mind all the time?
No, I had it in mind all the time. I knew I had them, and that's how I got into. So probably you will ask me how I got into DeFiChain later. So that's how I came across Julian's videos. So I've been, I knew I had Bitcoin. I've seen it rise. I've been through so many crashes and hypes and then deep depressions, and but I knew, okay, this is going up. So I'm holding on to this, but I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to know, okay, what can I do with this? I'm not a finance guy. I'm an IT nerd, so I don't have any idea how to invest. I didn't have any idea how to like diversify your risk or anything. So I essentially, started looking for information, and Julian's YouTube videos and everything was just the best. It helped me a lot. And I still remember I was driving to Italy, and I wanted to drive in one go, so it was like 24 hours from Berlin. And I think I listened to all the
Red Bull and Julian in your ear, right? Kept you awake.
Exactly. Kept me awake.
Hey,
because I was literally driving and then almost falling asleep, and then he said, "Oh, and then this could be the next thing," and whoo. So I was like,
you said
it was good.
You're so long in Bitcoin, right? So I think for the most people, the most difficult thing is to hold and not to sell. And we've
really
all
amazing.
been there, right? DC, that we sold something, and at least it was for me like this, and I said, I made the extreme profit on that one, right? And then like a year later, you figure out you're so dumb that you sold that because you went up another 100x or something. So how did you manage to hold on to that stuff? Because you said you see it rising, you see it dumping, you see the high volatility, and there were for sure points in life where I thought, I think it's really time to sell. How did you manage that?
Well, the thing is, I never had any account where I could sell that much, so maybe that helped me a bit. So and I hold it onto it, and of course, whenever it went up by 100%, I thought maybe I should cash out. But then I was like, but then I need to set up this account, and my bank account will block me. And I've seen all this stuff where like, okay, the Silk Road guy got thrown into jail. People who are trading local Bitcoins got thrown into jail. So back then it was like, I grew up in a time where Bitcoin was it wasn't shady, but people thought it was shady. So I was always scared to cash out such a big amount of money. It's like, okay, I don't know, I'll deal with it later. But yeah, 2017. So how I did it is I got a corporate account with Kraken. I contacted, like a tax accountant, who then contacted my bank and said, look, there will be a big amount coming in. And then they contacted the government tax office, and everything was like perfectly transparent. But if I wanted to cash out in 15 or 14, no tax account would have touched it at all. So it was like this dark currency. So it was always a bit scary. Yeah, I cashed out for meals. I maybe I had a holiday that I paid for that I cashed out like a couple grand. But when I cashed out big time, I wanted to make it right because I wanted to pay my tax. I wanted to make sure it's all legit. I wanted to make sure I don't get any problems with the bank. And I don't know, 2017 was just was the right time. It just felt right.
Okay, cool. So, and then you said you learned, I mean, you met Julian virtually on YouTube and you listened to his videos and information, I think like a lot of us did. So how did it then happen that you got into DeFiChain?
Well, the thing is, so obviously I don't want to cash out and have it in like euros because you get the inflation that I learned now. I wouldn't have known that, but you have the inflation. You have like all these, I don't know. Everyone is saying cash is trash, and I honestly believe it that way as well. So I wanted to invest my money, and back then everyone was like, Daniel, the best thing you could do is buy an apartment, buy multiple apartments. You're gonna, this is what everyone does.
Yeah.
So I got an apartment.
That, right? The good old German and the Austrian thinking, buy an apartment, right?
Exactly. And then I got like 3% per year. Wow. Okay. So I was like, no, I don't want this. So I looked into, so this was like 2018, 19, maybe. This was like where the first DeFi applications came out and you could do lending and stuff like this. So try to do like these new financial things on the blockchain. However, and this is how I got into this whole bug bounty hunting thing. I never trusted them that much. I wouldn't have put all my money into this, maybe like 100 grand or something, but I wouldn't put much money into this because
what is quite a substantial amount for a lot of people out there, I guess.
It's like I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything. So
no, you don't. Understand. Okay. So you said it's really a substantial amount of money, and you just wanted to be sure that that's the right thing where you put it. Understandable. I mean, I wouldn't give the guy around the corner 100 grand, right?
Yeah. And I've seen so many hacks. I've seen so many people that had like a scam coin and just ran with the money. So you have to be prepared that this might happen. And this is how I got into bug bounty hunting. I'm not bug bounty hunting because I want to earn some money or anything. It's more like I want to understand the system. I want to understand, okay, when I put money into this coin or project or smart contract, what is it doing exactly? Because I have a nice white paper and a few YouTube videos and people are like doing this nice marketing speeches, but I want to know, I don't want to believe, I want to know. I want to know for sure what this software is doing. So even back then I started like looking into, and most of these DeFi projects on Ethereum, and I know maybe people don't agree with me on that, but I think they're like so insecure. It's like, even if you have like a perfect security audit, if you can look at the code, most contracts are upgradable. So the owner can just replace it with new logic, like this in a second, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't trust these projects at all. So this like eliminates maybe 99% of all DeFi projects on Ethereum. So it's like, okay, well, I can't use them. So what do I do? And since I was following Julian, DeFiChain came across, and it's truly decentralized. I mean, we have like centralized community projects. We have like YouTube videos, but like the coins themselves, they're decentralized. There's no contract that can be updated. Yeah, you can upgrade the logic when you vote on it and you submit to GitHub. But then, if some people don't agree, if some of the miners don't agree, then you get a fork or whatever. But it's not something that one guy in his, jogging anzug, I don't know, tracksuit at home, can just press a button. So you can just press a button and all security audits are useless because there's a new logic suddenly. Okay. So I wouldn't believe those things at all.
But have you, I mean, you said you started checking the code. You're a developer, you know how to write code, definitely, because otherwise you wouldn't do that. Have you done it for another project before as well? Or was this your first step into blockchain?
No, you wouldn't.
How does it work?
You wouldn't believe it. I found some big bugs in Bitcoin itself. This was back then. So with like G Maxwell was very proud of me back then. But back then I had to use like a pseudonym, like, I don't know, Master of Disaster, something like that, because you didn't want your name tied to it.
Okay.
Like, it was like, back then, now I wouldn't have any problem. But back then it was like, okay, everyone had like a nickname. So yeah, Bitcoin had some attacks. I don't know, there's like a Bitcoin GitHub changelog where it's mentioned what I did. And Tor had a couple bugs as well.
Okay.
And then someone of my group in Berlin did a paper on the security bug that I found.
Oh, cool.
So it was,
Okay.
the sniper attack. The sniper attack. So it was called the sniper attack for Tor. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you were very familiar with this topic, how to investigate code, how to search bugs, because to be honest, I have no idea how to start. So I can read a little bit of code. I also had a look into the C code of the DeFiChain, but then I stopped. It's too hard. So no chance for me personally.
Yeah, well, it was an easier entry for me because I already looked at the Bitcoin source code itself, and it's like many aspects are similar, but it's hard to describe how to do it. It's kind of like asking. It's kind of like asking Picasso, "Hey, can you tell me how to paint a picture?" So it's like, I don't know, just
You've got a new nickname now, the Picasso of DeFiChain.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. It's weird. I just see it. I don't need to like exercise my brain. I don't need to. I just look at it, and I think the biggest, and I told Mark before, it's like I think the biggest issue when someone tries to get into bug hunting is they read code like they would read a book. So they look at the actual words. So they see like, get last masternode block time, and okay, makes sense. Blockchain height and masternode ID, but just because it says masternode ID and last block height doesn't mean that it's actually doing what the words are saying, right? So it's like you kind of start believing the words when you. So before I've done a lot of disassembly, like reverse engineering of like commercial drivers for Linux. And there you just get like a disassembly. You don't have any variable names. You just need to completely understand what is the code doing without being like influenced by text or by English words or anything. So, but it's really hard to explain how to actually do it.
So you said you explained it to me. You said don't trust the words that you read. So you started replacing the words with variables that make actually no sense by themselves, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, now I don't do it. Now I don't.
It's more like a mathematics.
I did. Exactly. So like, I don't know, get blockchain height becomes X1, masternode ID becomes X2. So you just have X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. And you have to figure out what this thing does without the words telling you what it does. Because, and it's a lot harder. You look at a code and you're like, okay, what is this doing? How does it make sense? Yeah, with the words, it does make sense, but you won't see the whole picture if you trust the words.
Understand.
So
it's like really solving a mathematical puzzle, a mathematical formula in some way, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Good. And then you started, and then you immediately found something, or how much time do you invest in something?
Well, it depends. Depends. So, for example, the masternode bug, it took me like 3 hours, maybe.
So there's a certain part of luck also involved to look at the right spot in some way?
Yeah, I'm looking at every single line. So I'm not, I want to understand every single line in this GitHub repository. So of course, it's not luck. Well, it may be luck where you start. So when I start with the masternode function and there's no bug, the bug is in the anchoring system, then of course it will take a bit longer because I started at an unlucky position. But if there's a bug, I'll find it.
Okay.
So you read through the whole code on the GitHub for the node software.
Yeah, amazing. Every single line, every file. even if it's like super stupid, even if it's like some random helper function, I don't know, int to string or something, I'll go through that and understand what it does exactly.
So
you
You have an interesting hobby. Some people read books, right? Some people cooking, maybe cooking recipes or something. You just sit there in the evening and read the code in some way.
Yeah, sometimes. So I still know in Brazil, I was actually printing out Bitcoin code and taking it on the bus because it was a 2-hour bus drive. And that you didn't want to have a computer in the bus. It would be stolen straight away. So I printed it on paper and I was reading code. This looks weird. Yeah.
Hey, Picasso, tell me. Picasso, tell me. I like the new name. That's going to be a new Elias. Hey, but we skipped a little bit over something. So you said, okay, DeFiChain sounds logical. There's people you know. There's a certain trust involved. But now you want
there's a big community.
There's a big
community. And there's a German community, German-speaking community, also helped, a big plus.
Right? And then you said, okay, now I want to make sure that this thing is really working like it should work. You explained it in our briefing yesterday with very cool words. You said a pilot would never start up the airplane and just start flying without checking the engine, the rudder, and all these things. I think this, how you explained that, this is so spot on. Because most people out there, they see, oh, I'm going to make that amount of money, they throw their money in there, and I've been there. I don't have the capability. Your approach is so different from so many other people.
So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't invest in anything without checking. So like the airplane example that I told you yesterday. So even though the plane has just been serviced with the mechanic, it's like everything has been checked. No pilot would just fly it without checking himself again.
Right.
So that's kind of my approach, because I have quite a bit in DeFiChain, and I also had quite a bit in different projects. So, but we're talking like I don't know. We're talking like Dieter Bohlen could go home. Let's put it that way.
Now I can't do that, right? So I've got no clue about development, right? So, what do you suggest for people out there? These are not all people who are skilled to write code, read code, even find bugs, right? It seems to be not so easy, what I've learned. What do you suggest, like the average Joe out there investing in a project, to protect themselves against rug pulls or code errors or bugs or whatever? Is there a best practice, or do you say just hands off, or what's your recommendation?
I don't know. This is a very hard question. I guess. I don't know. So when someone comes in DeFiChain, for example, someone comes into DeFiChain, comes into the Discord and gets to know the community, and he knows, okay, there's this Daniel guy who's looking at code, and he found so many bugs, and if there were others, he probably would have found them. But since he didn't find any new bugs, it's probably safe now. I'm not saying that I'll find all of them. I'm just saying that there's a high chance that if you have good people in the community, that they will find the bugs and report them. I think. If I didn't know any coding or any programming languages or anything, I would have a look at the community. How this community is it like a hype community? Woohoo! Invest and get 10,000% tomorrow, or is it like a normal community, like the DeFiChain community, where like smart people are gathering together, and like some are developers, some are financial guys, and everyone is benefiting from everyone else. But it's really hard to say, because you have to rely on someone else. If you can't check the code, you need to rely that someone else does. And I think the only way to get it is through joining the community and seeing what people are involved.
It's a very good point. You need some kind of way to verify what you're buying into in some way, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Is good.
Yeah, it's like a swarm intelligence, right? Yeah. So you have to look: is the community like a swarm intelligence? Have they enough to make it safe, working like it should be? I think in that way, yeah.
And many communities, they just scare me away. So when I go into like some projects community and I see what people are there on Telegram, it's like. I don't know, some people are fighting, the other one are discussing political topics, then, I don't know, some are scamming 10 million% today. Send me 10 Bitcoins, get 20 Bitcoins tomorrow.
Let's pump it a little bit, right? Let's pump it and let's stomp it a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, this, it's, to me, it's all about the community. That's why I'm also in the inner circle, because I think that's great value for me. And yeah, it's great. So I'm very happy with DeFiChain, and I'm going to stick around. This is my project. Even if some other project came along, imagine some other projects come along and says like, well, move away from DeFiChain. It's only 89. 88.3%. You get 300. I wouldn't move because
you're checking every day, I guess, huh? Or every hour?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like in my living room, I have a big TV, and the like the screensaver is the crypto charts. This comes up. Yeah.
Holy moly! Hey, are you okay? That's a personal question. You don't have to answer that. Are you living alone? Are you having a girlfriend? Are you remarried again?
No, I've never been married, but I have a beautiful, wonderful girlfriend, and I'm very happy. It's
okay. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
How is she dealing with this crypto story? I think we all have a lot of us have partners, so I can tell you my story. But how is your girlfriend dealing? I mean, there's a certain, I don't want to say a certain craziness in crypto, right? It's fast. It's sometimes time consuming. Some people invest more time, some less. Sometimes I sit on the computer in the evening and she drops in and says, hey, darling, wouldn't it be time to go to bed? And say, hey, I really have to, I have to send something. I have to wait until the confirmations, and she just thinks, what's wrong with that dude? It's like 2:00 in the morning. How is she dealing with that?
She's doing pretty well. She's very interested in all. Obviously, she doesn't have any IT background, so she doesn't understand how it's actually working, but she gets like the general concept, how it's working. And honestly, sometimes I'm sitting on the balcony having a gin tonic and just looking in the stars, and she comes out, oh, here, the APY, it increased. I just saw it. And then I'm like, oh, really?
Is she in crypto? Did she get herself into crypto?
No, she's not yet, no. But she asked me if I could get her on the DeFiChain. But yeah, let's see. Many people ask me, hey, can you tell me what to invest into? Or can you tell me what I should go in or what project I should avoid? And I'm just not giving anyone any advice. Because, when they lose, when you say, Bitcoin is not that bad, I would go in Bitcoin. And then they lose, you're the one to blame. Yeah. They're like, oh, Daniel, I only did it because you said it. If you say to the same person, no, don't go into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up, you're still to blame because they will be like, oh, I would have bought, but you told me not to buy.
Yeah.
So whatever you say, it's always wrong. So I stopped giving people any advice.
Yeah, and the freaking crypto stuff goes up and down, so you're always wrong anyway, right? Because
exactly.
You cannot be right.
Yeah. It's a very good point, DC. I don't know if you have the same problem, but I have like a lot of people are my friends, we talk about it, I'm excited about it, and then I think maybe sometimes I shut up. In some way I want to spread the good word, right, about the project. But then people, and then the APY goes down, and then you get a call and somebody says, hey dude, didn't you tell me it's 100%? Hey, we are on 95%. What's wrong? Is the thing crashing now or something? Like, and you think, damn it, why did I say something,
So I personally have maybe two lives. It's the crypto life and the non-crypto life. So it's really hard for an average person to talk about cryptos. It's so abstract, geeky. It's really hard. So
you keep it kind of separate.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. I try to avoid too much. Even in the company, sometimes people ask, right? They say, hey, and I know there are a couple of cool people in my company that are in crypto, but yeah, I try to keep it a bit separate as well. Yeah, cool. So your dogs, you've got 2 dogs, you said. What do you do in your free time if you're not reading code? You walk the dogs around the beach, or?
Well, yeah, the dogs are a very big part of my everyday life. Feeding them, walking them, then they piss on the couch and I need to clean it, and it's like it's a half-time job. Let's say it's a half-time job, and otherwise I'm totally into like everything that has to do with technology. So I love photography, I love videography, I like all the technical stuff. I've shown you my setup that I have right now. Like I
You have a
love setting it up.
kick-ass setup. For that you normally don't do YouTube, hey? It's like, it took me like half a year to get there where you are in one video.
Yeah, I mean, the image still doesn't look perfect. I don't know why.
It's pretty good, man.
But,
yeah. It's awesome. Absolutely fantastic.
No,
hey, I've got a question from Fabio here.
Fabio, our Bitcoin boy.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so bad. Fabio is a big Bitcoin bull. So he says, after selling the majority of your coins in 2007, if you did you go back in, or did you only sell part of your Bitcoins in 2017? What was your strategy back then?
So back then I sold. So when the bubble started growing, I sold half of it, and the price was bad. It was like 3,600 euros or something, or dollars. But it helped me to like quit my job. And then I know no one can time the market, but I timed the market and I sold at the top of the 2017-18 bubble. So I sold all of it. And I got back into Bitcoin, but never all in. So I never put all my eggs in one basket. So yeah, I bought maybe 10 Bitcoin or 20 or something, but then I got a couple of Ethereum. Then I invested in some lending, in some Ethereum coins, so Ethereum-based DeFiChain projects. And now I'm in DeFiChain. I'm not all in DeFiChain, but I have plenty of DFIs.
Fair enough.
So
I think nobody should be like kind of having excuses for being in other coins. I really want to say that out there, because that's my next question. If you want to talk about it, I never asked you that. You said you're in other projects. I know it's DeFiChain channel, but it's still interesting to hear your opinion. So you said other projects. Are there certain projects out there where you say they're worth for you looking into, that you kind of believe, or?
No, none of them. None of them.
Very politically correct answer, I guess.
Honestly, as soon as a project has an upgradable contract, where the owner can just upgrade the contract and steal all the money, I'm not interested in projects like that. Okay. So yeah, of course, Bitcoin, but yeah, Bitcoin I'm interested in, of course. Ethereum is my next big thing. I think I'm very similar to Julian. Didn't he say like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and DeFi are his three largest positions? Yeah, same for me. Like I may have like a few coins of other projects, but it's like literally just like a tiny little bit compared to like the big three.
When people ask me about my portfolio, I always say my portfolio is boring.
Mine is boring as well.
Yeah, because it's like the three like DeFi, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are, I think, 85% of my holdings, most likely, right? Or maybe even 90%. Do you see, how is it with you? I never asked you, actually.
Also the same. I think
so we are all
95% with the three coins. So I have just a few coins, smaller positions. It's more like a gambling.
What was the... Yeah. I agree. And that's the next question. Daniel, you've been around the block for a while. You bought a lot of shit, most likely as well. So I did, right? So I had a couple of serious bad experiences buying crypto in the last hyped bull market. So I bought stuff. There was the good time when Mr. McAfee was around and he was shilling coins, and I thought, this guy really knows a lot of things, right? So I bought a couple. I bought late. I think it was called Latium X or something like this. I still have them. Dead, worth nothing, right? I bought some insurance coin of a Singaporean ICO that went completely to zero. So I lost a lot. What was the worst buy, the worst investment in crypto you've ever done?
I think I didn't have any bets.
Okay.
But the thing is Mark, the thing is, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not reading Twitter. I'm not reading Instagram. I'm not taking any investment advice of people on social media. So even in the 2017 ICO bubble, it was I got some ICOs. I got into, what was the name? Already forgot. It was so irrelevant that I forgot the name of the project because it's worth zero as well. But I never really got into this hype because, I think many people here on Instagram, on Telegram, like, oh, this is going to be the next big thing. And then they get into like this echo chamber where like everyone is talking about this coin, and then you get the confirmation bias and everything, and your psychological brain is like going nuts and like, oh yeah, I need to buy. But I know I'm not on social media, so I'm not even knowing. I don't know about new projects. I don't know what's launching. I just don't see it.
I think it's interesting because I changed completely over time, but it took me some time, right? So I think at the beginning, first of all, I thought anyway, I master trader marks, right? So I mean, if the market goes up, every trade's a winning trade, right? It's like you jump from whatever was available on Kraken, I bought it, right, and it always went up, and I felt like, hey, God, hey, I'm so stupid. I should have done this years ago. Hey, I would be a multimillionaire already. Then I figured out that it becomes a little bit more difficult if the coin's correct, right? Or the market's going down. So I learned my lesson there. And then over time, I also lost quite a lot of money. I won quite a lot of money. But like I said, it's like a roulette. It's like a gamble, right? And nowadays, I'm completely different and very boring. And yeah, I think it takes time for people to arrive. I mean, you're around crypto for 8 years now, right? And Bitcoin is old 10 years. So it's like, I mean, if they call me an OG, what are you then? You're a crypto dinosaur already, more or less, right?
Mark, there's another question from Ian. Maybe we can...
Yeah, of course, sure. Here we go. Maybe you want to read it this year?
Okay, what would you say to a bug bounty hunter that's decided whether to legibly report a bug or exploit it secretly for their own benefit? Yeah, it's white hacker versus the black hacker.
Yeah, well, it depends. So it depends. They're like bugs that give you like a slight advantage, like the speedy miner thing. So you're not really, stealing other people's money. It's just that you're mining equipment is a bit more profitable. So, but I would report that as well. But if someone finds a bug and you can actually steal all the money from the platform, that's not going to work. It's, you want to cash it out, and then what? Like someone asks you about the source of the funds, and then okay, I don't know. I just found them. Okay.
They fell off the truck somewhere around the corner.
Yeah. Oh, found a USB stick in the woods when I was hiking.
and there were 50 million in coins on it, $50 million in coins on it. Okay.
Yeah. So when someone exploits it and takes the coins and runs, there's no way he can. Okay. He will be always hunted. He will be always hunted for the rest of his life.
Is there community of let's call you a white hacker, right? I mean, let's say would you call yourself a white hacker, or is white hacker something different? Is there kind of community? No?
Well, I think maybe not. So when you say white hacker, I think of a person that like hacks for ethical reasons. So I'm actually doing this very selfishly. So I want to know that my investment is safe. I want to invest in DeFiChain. I want to understand everything about it, and I want to know that it's safe. I want to know that my funds are okay, and so it's more like
an auditor in some way.
Kind of
auditor, controller, whatever, right?
Like a code audit that I'm paying for with my own time because I want to know that this project is safe. So it's not like that I have very like ethical beliefs and I'm going out there and making the world a better place. I mean, I appreciate people who do, but I have no time for that.
I like that as honest, at least. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me see. Somebody said German, Austrian, Swiss community is a good sign for a conservative project in the crypto space. Would you agree to that, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I mean, with many projects, you don't even know where the team is coming from. They have anonymous team. I mean, I get it. Bitcoin also has an anonymous developer, but like all these new projects, when they have like anonymous teams, you don't know where they're coming from. It's like you don't know who. It's like weird. I mean, it's okay if you do the code audit and it doesn't have any security issues and it's decentralized and it's fine. But I totally agree that if you have a German, Swiss, Austrian team, it's like. It has different quality. Look at the German cars, for example.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Or point. German beer. When I compare German beer to...
There are also nice Italian cars out there, my friend.
I know. I got one.
So you're Italian car lover, not a German car lover, after all.
Well, yeah. Well, I always had like Italian cars. It's like
Okay.
so. Right now, I have like the Ferrari 488, and it's crazy. I don't know. In Germany, Italy, they're so cheap. You can just get them like do liquidity mining for a couple of months, and you get it.
Yeah,
But
ask me in Singapore, man. You buy a car in Singapore, that's a sign of real wealth here if you have a car. It's crazy.
And here it's the same thing. You have the luxury tax. So
Okay.
a car that's like 100,000 euros becomes 500,000 euros.
It's ridiculous.
Just because of the luxury tax, yeah.
Do you import or you buy there if you buy a car in
Nah.
Australia?
I just buy there. You can't import. They have like a list? They have a list of approved cars that you can import, and it's usually cars that are not produced in such a quantity in Australia. So I don't know. There's like, I can't think of an example, but you can't just import any car. So you have an approved list of cars that you can take in. But another hobby of mine is working on cars. So I actually buy cars from a repairable write-off auction. So it's cars that have been in crashes, and I don't know. Then the insurance company puts them on an auction, and I just get them and I just work on them. I fix them, and it's nice. I love it.
So really into fixing stuff then. So it's not only you fix code, you fix cars as well.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's a lot, like cars are so technical, so you have to like reprogram the control units and everything. So it's still a very technological hobby. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What do you think about Tesla? Think about Tesla cars? So you're so into tech. It's so much cool. Tesla's a driving computer at the end, right? Or a computer with 4 wheels. You like Tesla? Would you drive one? Would you buy one? It is faster than your Ferrari now.
I know, but I'm a kind of biased. So if Elon Musk hadn't been on Twitter tweeting his crazy tweets, maybe I would have got a Tesla. But after his tweets, no way.
You take it personal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay. Cool.
So I think they're great cars, but I just, like Anonymous always says, I never forget, I never forgive. So Elon Musk and Twitter equals me not buying a Tesla.
Good point. So, Alan, out there, if you listen to that, you better get your shit sorted because some people are not buying your products anymore. Fair enough.
I know.
Absolutely fantastic. Somebody said you would like to see the pic of your chart screen in your bedroom. Okay, what else have we got here? Hey, you're the pink hat hatter. You're the pink hat hacker. And said that because pink DeFiChain. I think that's where the analogy is coming from.
Look at this.
Yeah, I said already. You stole your girlfriend's gaming chair, man.
Kind of.
We have the same chair, right? I mean, it's a Singaporean brand. If somebody out there actually want the ref link for that chair, send me. I kid you not, I've got a ref link now for Secret Lab because as a YouTube influencer, you have this nowadays, right? Nobody bought a chair from me so far, so no worries about that. Cool. What do we have here? Andreas asked a question for Daniel. Okay, wait, let me bring that on screen. Can we bring that on screen here? Question for Daniel. Did you ever check on the fairness of the reward findings for the masternodes? Of which time frame it will be fair mining reward finding? I don't really understand the question.
Me too.
But yeah, well, I don't understand it fully, but
do you think in what direction it's going?
I mean, of course, I checked the masternode fairness because I found the masternode efficiency bug, which and there were actually 2 bugs. One was fixed without me reporting it, but it was that when the the time coin age when the coin age was introduced, where like when you find the longer you don't find a block, the more likely it is that you find one. When this was introduced, it was just introduced in the mining software, but not in the algorithm that checks the block. So you could just say coin age infinity, and it still worked. So there were like a couple of tweaks you could do to make your masternode a bit more efficient. But yeah, it's all fixed now. It's all good. So masternode was a big topic. So I spent more than just 3 hours on. So it's Yeah.
Fabio, by the way, fully agrees. He says, I fully agree with Daniel. Alan just pissed me ass off. Used to like him a lot. Not anymore. Not gonna buy a Tesla. Okay, that's
Yeah.
too cool.
Fabio,
Awesome.
you're my man. Fabio is my man.
Fabio is your man. Yeah, hey, guys, we spent an hour chatting, and I've got the feeling we could do it. Another one that went like so smooth and fast. Want to be a little bit sensitive or sensible with time. It's DC's lunch break. Is there something else, Daniel? I don't want to cut you off. I'm really having a blast here. Is there something else what you wanna voice, what you wanna kind of tell the audience out there that you're live with us today about DeFiChain, about crypto, some things like recommendation, wisdom that you wanna share?
Well, I think we covered most of the important topics, but at the end, I just wanted to tell you that it's so great what you guys are doing. I love the YouTube videos. I love the,
Thanks.
This new format, the Fire Chat, where you invite guests. So, thumbs up. It's an amazing work you're doing for the community.
Thank you very much for your support. Hey, Daniel, this was the first show, right? You have to come back. I really think you have to come back at a certain time. And we're gonna do an episode 2. We're gonna figure out a couple of new ideas. You might have found some new bugs until then. We stay in touch.
That would be a question. What is the next project for the bug bounty program? So the masternode is now safe. We have found nearly everything. And
who asked that? Who asked this question?
Obviously, I can't share this information because I'm onto something. Let's say that.
Okay,
let's put it that way.
Good.
But of course, I won't share it unless it's fixed. And then
Wusa, our man who is building the DeFi node. You know the DeFi node project most likely. He said, "How can we follow this amazing person?" So your new fans, we're gonna bring femdom and fame to you, my friend, to Australia now. How can people follow
no Twitter
you?
account.
Well, I'm not on social media. I don't believe in social media. But with all this new equipment that I bought just for this interview, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel.
You should.
Maybe.
You should. As long as you invite us back to be your guests sooner or later.
Absolutely. You will be guest 1. Episode 1.
Thank you very much. Hey, we can't follow you. Okay, unfortunately, another guy said, Cryptobi, very nice comment. Daniel is a great asset for DeFiChain. I can't agree more. I think, Daniel, we are really grateful to have you. I'm really happy that you showed your face. When I heard about that there's this Dr. Daniel Cagara, you were kind of Mr. Anonymous. So I did a bit of research and then I thought, reach out to you and found you then, finally. And I thought you might come up, hoodie, sunglasses, something like this, voice changer. But you're a real person. That's what I really like. Yeah. I had a great time. Hey, I'm so happy to have you. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Yeah, really, thank you.
And
no worries.
We're gonna stay in touch anyway. I owe you a drink in this cocktail bar in Atlas in Singapore. The largest gin selection in the world. They have a gin tower. Daniel, last one. Give us a gin selection because we spoke about gin the last time when we spoke.
Oh, I'm not a big gin aficionado, but I like gin. I like drinking gin, and we have like this Australian ink gin. So it looks like, like a ink that you can use for writing. It's
violet,
purple.
right? Violet, purple color.
I don't know. I fell in love with the bottle. I fell in love with the way it looks, but it's actually tasting amazing. And at the gin bar in Singapore, we'll try that one.
We're gonna do this when you come over. So when they finally let you off your island, then you can come to my island. Your island's a bit bigger than my island, and then we're gonna go for a drink. Hopefully DC can join us.
Absolutely.
As well. And guys, thanks a lot. Thanks to everybody out there for watching. I hope you had a good time. I think it was awesome. I said yesterday in a news show, if the Fireside Chat is only going to be half as good as our call, Daniel, that we had like 1 or 2 days ago, then it's going to be fantastic. I think it was better than our briefing that we had, better than when we set up the lights and the tech and everything. I had a good time. I hope you guys out there had a good time. See you in a couple of weeks when we have the next Fireside Chat. Otherwise, see you in the next news show. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye.